Hey, my friends, I hope everyone is well and you're enjoying your day. I just thought I would take a few minutes and come to you and share with you my journey to inner peace. Now, I can remember, 25 years ago, walking into my very first ever psychological therapy appointment. And I've had many since, and I'm an advocate of therapy. So I walked into the therapist's office and I knew why I was there. I knew that my life was crazy, hot mess all over the place. I knew that I was making more of a mess of it. And she said to me, "Why are you here? What are you hoping for during our time together?" And I thought for a minute. And she then further asked me, "How can I help you? What is it that you're hoping to get from me and these sessions?" And I said, "Well, ultimately, I want inner peace. I'm here because I want inner peace." And I'll never forget it. She was a very proper woman and, didn't really chuckle a lot. But when I said I was there to achieve and find inner peace, that brought a little smile and a chuckle to her face. So that's how my journey into therapy started. I was there looking for inner peace. Now, I put a great big title on what I was looking for, and it was almost going to be impossible for me to find inner peace because what I know now, in hindsight is 2020, I didn't even know what I was looking for. I knew that I was making bad choices or choices that were keeping me stuck and feeling off, not right. And I just needed somebody to show me the way, was what I was hopeful for. Well, what I learned was that therapy is a very self-exploratory journey. Now, you have somebody credentialed and licensed that's going to sit there and guide you through. And trust me, I love therapy, but when it comes right down to it, you're doing the work. And so I thought I would take my learning and all the courses that I've taken and life I've lived and share them with you. Now, there's a story that goes like this. A guy walks into a bar and the bartender says, "Would you like a drink?" And the guy says, "Sure. What are my choices?" And the bartender says, "Well, your choice is yes or no. Would you like a drink?" And the guy kind of just stood there and had a look on his face. And most of us can relate to that. We don't go further into the question. We don't ask sometimes the right question. So had this guy asked, "What are my choices?" Had he said, "What's on the menu?" he would have gotten a very different offer. He would have gotten a very different response. And so one of the things I want you to think about is, what are you asking in your life of the people around you, of yourself, of your God? What are you asking? Think a minute. What is it that you really want in your life? Most people will say they want to be happy. Most people will say they want to be successful. Most people will say they want a lot of money. Most people will say they want a relationship that they can be happy in. And ultimately, everything that leads up to that begins with inner peace. Until you can find a place inside of you where you are peaceful, all of that stuff, you'll just keep asking the wrong questions, or you'll keep asking questions that will take you further and further away. So here's something that I learned. There's an author, Japanese author, and her name is Marie Kondo. And she wrote a book, #1 bestseller, about tidying up, keeping things tidy in your physical space. And so when I heard about this book, I thought, "Ooh, that's really good," because my husband could use the tidying up part. But then it occurred to me that her 3 or 4 principles that she uses to keep your house tidy could also be applied to our personal lives. and finding inner peace. And so here are Marie's points to keep your house or your space tidy. Number one, go through all the things you have. Go through all your stuff. Touch your belongings. Look at it. Touch it. Number two, get rid of anything you don't love. Get rid of anything you don't love in your physical space. If you touch it and you don't love it, and that means it doesn't invoke a feeling in you, get rid of it. Donate it. Throw it out. Find a place for the things you do love. So you've touched everything. You know what you love. You know what you don't. And what you do love, you must find a place for. And that way, everything you love has a place. The last step, when you use something, when you touch and move the stuff you do love, don't just sit it down. Put it back in its place. This is how we declutter our physical space. So I was thinking, what if these principles applied to our lives, to our relationships? So let's just use relationships, for example. Go through all the relationships you have. One day, just sit down, light your candle, grab your cup of coffee, grab your wine, whatever you're drinking. Sit down and go through all the relationships you have. Look at your coworkers, look at your family, look at your friends, look at your relatives. Yes, look at your relatives. Go through the relationships you have. Get rid of what you don't love. Now, it's going to sound drastic. It's going to sound harsh, but I'm going to be honest with you and tell you, I don't know about you, but there are a lot of relationships in my 55 years that I have outgrown or they've outgrown me. And I've simply moved on or they've moved on, and relationships just fall away. However, if there are relationships in your life that are not of love, that you don't love these relationships, you want to think about tidying up. You want to think about getting rid of them. Now, it doesn't have to be harsh. It simply begins with boundaries. I respect me, I love me, I value me, and therefore, I don't know that I love this relationship in my life anymore. And then you move past it. And maybe it's a conversation with the person, or maybe it's just something that's generally energetically understood. You just move on. And so third, with relationships, find a place for the relationships that you do love. Create a sacred space, a sacred bond with these relationships. Nurture them, just like you would nurture a new fresh plant that you would put in the ground. Nurture them. And the fourth step, when you use something, when you spend time in your relationship, don't just push it aside. Put it back. And that means gently remind the people that are in your life how much they mean to you. Leave the relationship nice and tidy. Don't let things left unsaid. Don't leave loose ends. Don't make people wonder how you feel. So you see how this can be used for relationships. So let's take it from another point of view. Maybe you want to talk about finances, or maybe you want to talk about career. So go through your career. Look at what you love about your career. Keep what you love. List out what you love. And what you don't love, let go of. And this might mean a list. And so this is helping you to decide, gee, I don't love what I do right now, but how can I get to do something that I do love? Now, all of this is going to take time. It's like building up your muscles. This is an exercise. This isn't something that you fly by night through and all of a sudden life is different. It took me a good 20 years to find inner peace. to be at a place where I can literally say to you, I look at my life and I say, it is what it is, but if what it is doesn't align with what I love and who I know myself to be, I literally release it. And there's different ways to release. Now, this exercise will take time. You may have to listen to this several times. Some of you may not get through the whole thing. Maybe it's not for you. But I'm telling you one thing. Anybody that shows up and says, I want life to be different. I'm tired of all the drama. I'm tired of swirling in the drama, blah, blah, blah. And you don't choose to do anything about it. Guess what? You do like the drama. So I'm giving you an option right here, right now. This is a way to do something about it. And if you want to go deeper with this and you want to stay on track and you want accountability and you want partnerships, you need to get in my School of Spiritual Arts, because this right here, what you're seeing, is the kind of stuff that I'm teaching. I'm teaching you to rely on God and your inner knowing, which, in my opinion, are one and the same. And as you begin this journey, you will feel shifts, you will feel different, and you will begin to align with your true sense of identity, your true sense of purpose. So if this moved you and you're interested, click the link, learn about the School of Spiritual Arts. And if not, at least you've heard something in this video that may make a difference in your life. So, all right, my friends, take care.